Players like you and me aspire to be rich in Hypixel Skyblock. At the end of the day, time is money. Most of us are looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. So like every good Skyblock player should, you take to YouTube to try and find a get-rich-quick scheme. And you're greeted with videos like this, or this, or this. And honestly, we all know they just ain't it. Today we're going to be taking a look at what I believe is to be the best money making method in the game by far at the moment. Now this method's end product will depend on quite a few things, but nevertheless we're not going to waste any more time, we're going to get to it. So everybody knows about this utter tragedy I've got in front of me, and that utter tragedy has led to this being very, very, very desirable. Now before you start saying nitros, well, you can still use the Juju shortbow in dungeons even if you don't have the requirement. That's true, but realistically is that going to be true going forward? No, it's not true. It's not true, it's going to be fixed. So pipe down, nerd. Anyway. Now the vast majority of people who want to achieve Enderman 5 in order to use the Juju shortbow can't particularly get Enderman 5 quickly because they struggle with Enderman Slayers. So let me just think, what would the solution to this be? Oh yeah, carries. Carries exist. Every Juju non and his dog right now wants an Enderman Slayer carry, so why not capitalise on it? Now, a majority of people just simply want to get to Enderman 5, and that's fine, they'll buy carries, probably tier 4s because they're the quickest. Obviously, tier 4 carries cost money. Now, I promise you, this is not just a ploy to plug my Discord server, but we actually do Enderman Slayer carries right here. Not just my server, many more Discord servers for your favourite YouTubers will also do Enderman Slayer carries, so not just my server. As you can see here, a tier 4 completion carry is 2.25 mil. And if you buy 10 plus, obviously economies of scale, 2 mil each. Majority of players just want 10 carries because that's basically roughly how much you need in order to get from Enderman 3 to Enderman 5. Now let me make this pretty clear, this money making method is not exactly accessible for a lot of people, but if you've got the gear you need to be aware of this because the amount of money you can make is pretty mind-boggling. I guess I probably owe you guys an explanation on how you do that, and I'll come to that in just a minute, but as you all know we have to plug, you know, subscriptions and things like that. Yeah, it's time. And that's because at the moment we're actually trying to beat the population of San Marino with subscribers. Now the population of San Marino is roughly the same as YouTube rank. Now the plan is to actually visit San Marino in a video. If we get to YouTube rank, we'll be able to claim we have more subscribers than the population of the whole country, which is a little bit ridiculous. What I'm trying to say is make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It would help out a lot. Anyway, back to the video. Anyway, back to the carries. So as you can see here, the most common order you're probably going to get is 10 carries, which is 20 million coins. Now, depending on how strong you are, you can carry multiple people at once. I mean, at the end of the day, they're spawning the bosses, you've just got to kill them. And if you're quite good at Enderman Slayers, then you can quite easily get a tier 4 boss done in around about a minute, if not less. Now, what I would say is these carries are pretty dependent on the person that you're carrying, which sounds weird and a bit strange, but it does. I mean, at the end of the day, they have to be able to survive. Even though they're not killing the boss, they're still going to take damage. And obviously if they die then the boss resets, so it's a bit of a situation in that sense. It also depends on how fast they can actually spawn the bosses, which is probably why it's good to have a few carries on the go at once. But as long as you tell the person who you're carrying where to stand, what to use and so on, providing they can follow them instructions and not die, it's fairly straightforward. I'm going to do some estimations. If we go off the basis that you could potentially carry, I don't know, 4 people per hour, in a sense as you could probably do 10 carries 4 times in an hour for 4 separate people and not have multiple carries on the go at once, which leaves you 15 minutes to do 10 carries, which is obviously dependent on the person, but it's quite easily possible. That's 80 million coins. Depending on how good you are, if you carry multiple people at the same time, you could quite easily double that. Now, you know, some people may be thinking, Nitros, you know, who are you to say this? Like, on what basis? On what basis do you have to spew all of these random pieces of information? It's a good question because I have Enderman Slayer 4. Anyway, at the same time, there's quite a few people in my Discord server who carry, which makes sense because there's carries in the Discord server. One of the moderators, who's also a carrier, if you've had carries in my server you'll probably be aware, is Cup. He, in his best hour, in just 1 hour, he's made 200 million coins just from Enderman Slayer carries. Now that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to make 200 million coins every hour, that's in his best hour. But you can see how much the carries are, you can do the maths. It's a serious money making method at the moment. Granted, once majority of people who want to use a Juju have already got to Enderman Slayer 5, the demand will die down, the carries will go probably slightly cheaper, and the money making method will still make money, but it just won't be anywhere near as good. So realistically, if you're able to do Enderman Slayer, and if you're able to carry Enderman Slayer, get yourself into a Discord server, get a carrier rank and start carrying some people, because you might as well take advantage of this. When majority of people do the carries, I mean, I know a lot of people go for an RCM setup with basically Storm and a Hyperion. You could also use Final Destination and a Hyperion. You don't have to use a Hyperion. I mean, just whatever gets the job done, really. And in terms of helping the person that you carry to actually survive, you could suggest maybe getting a Wither Cloak or a Mithril Coat, Zombie Ornate Sword, the Goblin Armor, all that good stuff. I mean, a combination or maybe a few of those would work. Obviously, depending on where they're up to anyway. Anyway, like I said, it's not exactly accessible. A lot of people won't be able to do this. But if you can do this, it's a no-brainer not to sort of go for it and make a load of coins. Especially when realistically, probably the next best money-making method would be mining. I mean, I find that incredibly boring. I much prefer to be killing Endermen, to be completely honest. Anyway, I'm not going to waste any more time in this video. It probably ended up being longer than I want it to be anyway, but there was a fair amount of explaining to do. In essence, the video was pretty self-explanatory. If you think about it, the demand for these slayers has gone up, understandably, and just take advantage of it. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.